Բարև ձեզ հարգելի բարեկամներ, Սփյուռքի ձայնը հեռուստահանդեսը դարձյալ ձեզ հետ է։ Արդեն մի քանի ամիս է, որ Վաշինգտոնում կոնգրեսի գրադարանում ներկայացվում է հայոց տպագրության 500-ամյակին նվիրված ցուցահանդես։ Վերջերս մենք այցելեցինք Վաշինգտոն նկարահանելու այդ բացառիկ ցուցահանդեսը, որի մասին մեր պատրաստած ակնարկը այժմ սիրով ուզում եմ ներկայացնել ձեր ուշադրությանը։
Recently, Voice of Armenians TV traveled to Washington, D.C. for an extraordinary exhibition of 500 years of Armenian printmaking titled To Know Wisdom and Instruction. Drawing from the Armenian collections of the Library of Congress, the exhibition displays the varieties of the Armenian literary tradition from the era of manuscripts through the early period of print and onto contemporary publishing. This remarkable exhibition, which showcases the rich tradition of Armenian printmaking to tens of thousands of Armenian and non-Armenian visitors alike, was made possible by many supporters, including Vartkes and Rita Balyan Family Foundation.
It was a great honor when we were asked to be one of the sponsors of this very unique exhibition at the Library of Congress. Of course, it was an honor because it had to do with our history, with our literature, and our traditions for thousands and thousands of years, and at the same time it was going to take place at the Library of Congress, which is the most prestigious library in the world. The reason also was that not only it was at the Library of Congress, of course many people were going to see it, but Levon Avdoyan was putting this very unique exhibition, and whatever he has done it perfect. And he has taught very well, and he is a scholar, and he doesn't leave any errors to slip. This is very important history for the world to know how educated we have been, and to know that Armenians were the second nation in the world after the Arabs to use printing for their very important prayer books, and today showing part of that history at the Library of Congress, and to educate more than 225,000 people, mostly Odars, as we say, non-Armenians, to know about our history, about our traditional wealth, about our literature, about our mindset. This is something to be very, very proud of. Our participation was just a drop in the ocean. And I'm so happy and extremely proud that Dr. Levon Avdoyan was able to put together such a fabulous and great exhibition to remember.
The curator and a man behind the exhibition is Dr. Levon Avdoyan, who serves as specialist of the Armenian and Georgian areas in the Library of Congress. He is also the author of entire illustrated guide of the Library of Congress Near East collection, as well as many scholarly monographs and articles. If you can tell us in a few words what specifically includes into this exhibition. Of course, we know this is 500 years of Armenian printmaking, but what kind of items do we have here?
Well, that's the point. Since I chose the Armenian literary tradition, that did not hook me to the traditional beautiful photo illuminations, beautiful photographs. It led to my selecting items to illustrate little stories. So we start with our earliest manuscript, 1322 Jerusalem, and we end with a 2010 book published in Yerevan, dedicated to the paintings of Ayvazovsky. Wanted to start the exhibit actually with an object table. You can't really say that this fits in with the run of the exhibit, but these are objects that I thought might actually illustrate the tradition in a brief fashion. For instance, we have a newly donated silver christening bowl from the region of Kharpet, Mezre and Kharpet, 19th century. And although it's not literary, here is, believe it or not, a 30-foot long piece of Armenian needle lace from Kharpet again, and a manuscript sharak notes, or hymnal, which we recently acquired from Mezre. Here we have a 1725 printed Hamayil, and there is probably the first of the modern dictionaries of the Armenian language done by Makhatar Sebastatsi in 1749, actually a year or two after his death. He never saw it published, but it really signals the thrust of a reawakened Armenian enlightenment.
What is the significance of this exhibition in terms of introducing Armenian printmaking or Armenian literature or Armenian history, for that matter of fact, to the American audience or to the broader audience?
Well, it's very interesting when I've come in here every day for the past 4.5 months, and I've seen people looking at a variety of items, talking, saying to themselves, what am I seeing, reading the panels. Even if they see 1, 2, or 3 items, taking away from themselves that there's an Armenia, it's a different alphabet, it's an ancient culture, and look at what they've produced. I mean, I've heard people talk about what they're actually seeing. So I don't think they're going to go back and become experts on Armenian printing, but I think it's broadened their outlook on not just Armenian printing, but actually literature in general, their own. The central thrust of this is not just Armenian literature, too. It's the fact that this is the Library of Congress, and we literally gather the patrimony of all the cultures represented in our population, of which the Armenians are one. Well, I consider this the start of the exhibit. Obviously, you see Janachazi Mastuchun Yevazchrat, to know wisdom and instruction, which is the name of our exhibit.
I was going to actually ask you the origin of the name.
The origin of that is, according to Koryun, the biographer of Mesrop Mashtots, the creator of the Armenian alphabet, the first words translated after the creation of the alphabet were to know wisdom and instruction, which is actually chapter 1, verse 2 of the book of Proverbs, after the title page. What better title for such an exhibit?
Yes, absolutely. It's very fitting.
So, and then we start with our earliest 2 manuscripts. Our earliest manuscript is a 1322 Avdoyan gospel book from Jerusalem. And here we have a recently bought Avdoyan from Verin Norovat, very rare, from 1487, roughly at the same time as the first printed book. A manuscript book of Psalms from the early 17th century, leading to our earliest published book, which is the Voskan Bible. Voskan Yerevadzi published this in Amsterdam in 1666. And an even more important book, if you can believe this, which is a commentary on the Psalms published in Amsterdam in 1687. In the commentary on Psalms, what's important is the Psalms are in Grapar, the classical dialect. The commentary, for only the second time in printed works, is in Ashkharabar, in the vernacular, because these were made for merchants who, of course, could understand the spoken language, but not so much Grapar.